we're doing something positive as foundational Black Americans. Everybody wants credit for it, and we give everybody credit for it. Like, yeah, if you want to get credit for our music, that's fine. That's why we see a lot of people talking about Jamaicans created hip hop, which is not true.
No, we did.
How so? Oh, let's get into this. How you create hip hop?
Well, okay.
Come on, let's get into this. Let's get into this. How you create hip hop, man?
Well, I didn't create hip hop.
No, how did Jamaicans create hip hop?
But I'm gonna. I heard it was because of Jamaicans. I'm just here telling you the narrative I've heard.
We're gonna clear that up.
The narrative. Because the Jamaicans that inspired Kool Herc to go to the Bronx, do whatever. That's what I've heard. And by the way, for my people from the islands, I'm trying to be our representative, and I'm here to be a buffer. You know what I mean? I'm here to be a buffer.
We're gonna clear these lies up, though.
No, hold up. I'm gonna get somebody in the next room to Google the joint. So you're trying to don't take it from us, Jamaicans. Now, come on.
Y'all didn't create hip hop. I'm sorry, brother. There were rap records in the 1960s. Pig Meat Markham had a couple of records.
What was the first hip hop record?
Well, the first technical hip hop record. It's a cross between King Tim III and Rapper's Delight. The first technical hip hop record doing what they were doing at the parties in the Bronx. A record. But rap records existed going back to the 1920s where people were rapping on beat. Foundational Black Americans, we've been doing that. Gospel troops rapping over the beat. Even the word rap, that's something that Foundational Black Americans were doing in the 60s. The word, the term, even iPhone 1, ma'am. There you go.
Sorry, it took a while to figure things out. My bad.
Got it. Now, Rahel, what part of East Africa are you from?
Eritrea.
Okay. So you said.
Well, I was born there, but I was raised in America. So.
Got it. So how old were you when you came to America?
About 6 or 7.
Oh, okay. Very, very young.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
So I've lived most of my life here.
Okay, so you said hip hop and rap came from Africa. How so, ma'am?
So my what I was trying to state is that the culture, whether you don't want it to represent you or have any affiliation with it, some parts of the culture still survived throughout the terrible things that happened, to people. So that was my point, is that a lot of these things, when you try to infer that there's some kind of that you're an entity that just came out of nowhere with no background or culture, it makes absolutely no sense to me, because logically, that's how it builds, right? So, I mean, you see this in South America, the Caribbean. There's a lot of African influence. And I'm not saying it as like a rah-rah, everything is Africa.
But no, you were like, hey, hip hop came from Africa, and no.
But what I meant was that their influence of like what your past is, what your languages were, what your people brought.
All right, but that's
all right.
That's such
that
a
builds.
Vague, that's like saying, but that's like, well, talking came out of Africa because the first people to speak came out of Africa. So we don't give them credit for that now.
No,
you understand? We've morphed into a different culture that's just not over there like that. Rapping and hip hop as a culture didn't come from Africa at all. And talking about, well, the drum. Well, ma'am, the drum is all over the world now. I mean, that's such a vague, elusive point to make. And
but is oral tradition an elusive point? I mean, when you're not able to, when the man or whatever.
That's saying basically Africa started talking 1,000,000 years ago, so we got to give them credit.
But wasn't. No, I'm not saying give credit to Africans. It has nothing to do with credit or ego. I'm talking about.
So why say that it came from Africa when the current culture of hip hop did not?
Okay, because I'm saying that the culture that created the hip hop comes from Africa. So the rhythm of it. The oral tradition that builds into what came out of the Black community.
How come those African beats don't sound like hip hop beats?
That's just fallacy. Now you're comparing oranges to lemons when you're in a different environment.
You're the one who made the comparison.
No.
African beats don't sound like foundational Black American hip hop.
Because we have a different environment, right? In a different culture.
Right.
Yes. That,
Right. It's a different culture.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm
All
saying,
right,
man.
but
You're
that's
admitting what
part,
I'm saying.
hold on, but that's part of the sauce, right? So that's part of the sauce, but it doesn't make the whole sauce, is all I'm saying. That's
Oh,
that's
so,
that's what I'm
ma'am,
saying. Okay.
okay, so
Yeah.
the thing is, Africa don't get credit for hip hop because we can get credit because we have African DNA, but we have foundational Black American lineage, and that's very unique to us. And we can't give them credit for something that we created over here,
Okay,
exclusive of them.
okay, and that's fine. That's not my argument. You don't have. I'm not saying Africans invented hip hop. What I'm saying is the influence for all of these things comes from Africa. So when you try to
How? You're just saying
disengage,
what the drum? No.
when you're trying to disengage from things that your ancestors brought and that you probably don't even know are traditions that you learned throughout time and history, it makes absolutely no sense to me. Everything
Then
was not
why?
wiped
Okay.
out,
Then
is my
why are
point.
they not? Then why are you guys over there? Well, you're over here now, but why aren't you rhyming like us? Why don't you rap and play the beats like us?
That's a good question. It's part.
Yeah,
It's
it
not
needs a
part
good
of the.
answer.
It's not part of the environment. It's not part of the culture. That's not.
Right.
Yeah.
And you
Hmm.
keep making my point for me. It's a different culture now, ma'am. And that's okay. You keep making my point for me. It's
But
a
the
different culture.
fundamentals are similar.
No, basically just talking and telling a story, that's very vague.
No,
Storytelling
no,
came
it's
from
the way.
Africa,
No, it's the
but
way.
that
It's the
came
way.
that when
It's
it hold
rhythmic.
on, hold
It's
on.
the way you're telling the story. It wasn't just you're telling a story, or
That's like
it's the
saying, ma'am,
way.
that's like that, ma'am, that's like saying Dr. Seuss got his rhymes from Africa. Okay, that's so vague. That's such a vague comparison. That's like saying the Europeans got nursery rhymes from Africa. Okay, that's too vague, ma'am. It's way too vague. They only make it possible for us, we foundational Black Americans. People try to force us to give credit for all of our positive contributions. We have to give credit to everybody else. No, that's something that we created on our own. We just got to be real about that. Do we have some ancestral DNA that like the rhythms of Africa and all that? Possibly. But as far as hip hop culture now, the uniqueness of it, and not just hip hop culture, jazz, R&B, rock and roll, all of the stuff that we created, that wasn't going on in Africa, ma'am. And no disrespect to Africa, you guys have Afro beats and some of that Islamic music that you got from Arabs. I don't know what y'all got
All
going
of
over there
that
now.
comes from Africa, my brother. All that influence comes from Africa. You could go to South America, the Brazilians, you could go to the Caribbean.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is influenced by African culture.
Yep.
You can deny it as much as you want, but the DNA, it's not only just the DNA, the culture has survived. And yes,
Uh-huh.
you have, yes,
And
yes,
I know that.
you have created sounds that are unique to the American culture that is yours. Yes,
Right.
but that also, that influence comes from your ancestors though. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? It's a
I get that.
bloodline, dude. That's what I'm saying. Okay,
I
that's what I'm
get
saying.
that. But don't
Okay.
say that hip hop came from Africa.
All
You're
right.
not you can't say that because we're very unique and our stuff sounds much different than what y'all doing over there, ma'am. And you know that.
Oh, okay. I get that point.
Right.
But
Because
the influence, I was speaking more about influence.
I
My
won't even say the
problem.
influence. I wouldn't even say that. There is no African Nas. There's no African Rakim. Not to denigrate these guys, but come on, this is y'all got stuff over there, man. I don't know what y'all got going on over there.
I'm just saying you wouldn't have a Nas, you wouldn't have an African Bambaataa, you wouldn't have any of these people if they weren't descendants of Africans. That's all I'm saying. You wouldn't have these individuals. You wouldn't be you if you weren't a descendant of African. Okay,
Uh,
that's, you know what I'm saying? That's
yeah,
all I'm
but
saying.
everybody's a descendant of an African, though. You know what I'm saying? Everybody came
No,
from
no,
Africa.
no. It's
Yes,
not
yes,
like
yes.
that. No, no,
Yeah,
no.
that's
We're
so
not going to
vague.
go back to
Yeah,
70,000 years
yeah,
ago
that's what you're
when
doing.
everyone left Africa.
Everybody came
No,
from Africa
I'm
using
talking
that.
500 years ago is not that long ago, my friend.
My man.
It's really not that long.
Okay, because we over here, we got some of the greatest lyricists ever, and y'all got this. Hold on. Let me take it to the movie, shawty. I'm sure later on you will be my baby. Let's sit down and just be by my side. I got
And
the
everybody was bopping to that. Everybody loved that. You know why?
so
Look,
so.
How
no,
come
no, no,
y'all
no.
got
You
that
can't.
over there?
You
How come
can't.
y'all got that? If we got it from you, why niggas rhyming like that
First,
now?
first of all, people were bopping to that. And secondly, you gotta talk resources, access to resources. You know that people
Oh,
don't
stop.
have, it's not like you can just become a rapper, It's
Yes, you
like
can.
the
Yes.
resources
What does
aren't there.
resources? Whoa! What does resources have to do with anything? That's how hip hop started because of lack of resources. What's stopping this dude from
That's
rapping better
true.
than that?
That's true. All
Hip
right,
hop
I got you.
started in it started in the Bronx. Nobody had anything, so they said,
You on that part.
"There
Yes, it
you
is
go."
about lack of resources. You're right.
Yes,
Okay,
indeed.
well, hey, I try to defend the kid, but I was bopping to that song. I like it. It's cute. It's whatever.
There you go.
Anyways,
All right, my friend.
we gotta put people up, not bring them down.
There you go.
And
All
thank you for
right.
bringing
Thank
me
you.
up. Yeah.
Thank you, dear. All right. Okay. Lord. Good and well, you can't defend that. Oh man, we got a lot to talk about, fam. Let's get right into it. I had to get her on here to really clear that up all